What's good? What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Urban Platform Speaks. Make sure to like and subscribe as you tune into the channel and check out the content. And with that being said, I want to speak on LeBron James and some comments that LeBron James made on the Pat McAfee show. LeBron James, I think like last week, sometime the middle of last week, LeBron James went on to the Pat McAfee show and he spoke on a number of different topics, right, or different people. But one of the people that LeBron James spoke on and he mentioned was Brian Windhorst, and he said he made a point to say that Brian Windhorst was not his friend, and that Brian Windhorst was weird, right, and basically said that he don't really have a relationship with Brian Windhorst. Now, throughout and I know that like throughout LeBron James' career, Brian Windhorst has been one of the people that has always been, who's sided with LeBron James in most times. He never, I never heard Brian Windhorst like really go hard on LeBron James, right? And so that just leads me to I was wondering, like, was that a wise decision? Number one, and number two, was it calculated, right? Um, if if you choose to go after somebody like Brian Windhorst, like somebody who is proven over the years to have not been your enemy, and somebody who's always sung your praises, like why would you go at somebody like him? You have other people, like rightfully so, or well, understandably so. He went after Stephen A. Smith, and he could have gone after other people. He could have went after what's the guy name? Skip Bayless. Skip Bayless for years have been saying different things about LeBron James, and so that would have been, if LeBron James had said something about Skip Bayless, that would have been more appropriate or more understandable than going after Brian Windhorst. Now, I think when you make enemies, of people that you don't need to make enemies of, I don't think that that's a wise decision. I think that because LeBron James never know that there might come a time where he may need Brian Windhorst. So that card, and then you could play that card at the appropriate time. But because you slighted Brian Windhorst, now I don't know how how much to heart Brian Windhorst would take that that comment about him being weird. But again, like why, if you're LeBron James, why make that or take that chance of making an enemy when you definitely don't need to? Brian Windhorst could be the kind of person that might hold that resentment. And I don't think that he's going to say anything publicly. I don't think that he's going to say anything or make a big deal out of it. But maybe later on down the line, if given the opportunity, Brian Windhorst would he might show LeBron James like how much of a nerd he is or how weird he is. And so I just don't think it was a wise decision for LeBron James to jump out there and call Brian Windhorst a nerd. I mean, not a nerd, but he just called him weird and just said he basically wasn't a friend. Sometimes people, they may not say anything, but they put that in their, they put that in their bank, and they just hold on to that for an opportunity when they could be able to, to exercise their power. And Brian Windhorst, he strikes me as that kind of person, as a person who, who might later on just, passively or not aggressively use some type of, get back, but passively, if you ask him for a favor, then he might just turn you down just because of what you said, a few years ago, especially since he has been, like I said, the one who has really, has been holding LeBron James up. And that just leads me to, like, number one, question LeBron James' judgment, and number two, like the people around LeBron James, like what are they advising him? Like, do he have a bunch of yes men around him who tells him that everything he do and everything he say is cool, or or they try to find ways to justify it. If that's the case, it's not going to work out well for LeBron. Especially since LeBron is close to he's close to retirement. So the relationships that LeBron James made during his playing career in the NBA, those are the relationships that should be able to help him transition into his career off the court. People in the media, people in business. But if he takes the approach that he don't need anybody, um, I don't think that's going to serve him well. Because people only, they only like as long as you can do something for them, then people, then they'll do for you if there's something in it for them. And so now Brian Windhurst has made a good living for being, like in LeBron James corner. I think he started out as a local reporter back in LeBron James hometown, and he followed LeBron through high school. So, he's always been the one who's been touting LeBron James and singing LeBron James praises. And that's something right there, in my opinion. Like that card right there was a card I don't think he should have threw away, especially for an interview on the Pat McAfee show. And he didn't really need to do that. That's just another example of somebody who was just, just not wise, and somebody who's just like out of touch. And I don't know. Now maybe LeBron James do have people around him who try to advise him against some of the things he do, because I think when you're somebody who has reached LeBron James stature, a lot of times, and I don't care where you come from or what your ethnicity ethnicity is, I think that you when you come into that type of success and that type of money, that it's probably you can lose touch with certain things. LeBron James um has been a wealthy man since he was probably like about 18, maybe even before that. But since he's about 18, LeBron James has been wealthy. So in a sense, LeBron James, certain things when he's out of touch in certain areas, he can't identify with like the ordinary working man or the ordinary working woman. He sees things through a different perspective because of his environment, around him, and the way that he has lived for the last like what 20 something, almost like close to 30 years, like 20 something years, and so that's why you need good you need people around you who can help guide you and help you, make some of the decisions and steer you in the right direction. But then in the final decision for him to speak on certain subjects and to speak in a certain way is his. I said this on my podcast Saturday, that if you look at like Michael Jordan, don't really do a whole lot of interviews, and because if Michael Jordan really spoke his mind, or if you really, a lot of people, wouldn't really like Michael Jordan. Now, like a lot of people really don't like Michael Jordan. They just admire him as a basketball player. But I think publicly, the less you know about somebody like Michael Jordan or LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, like the less you know about those guys, the more that mystique that surrounds them, that mystique that surrounds them, that stays. They never lose that. But in this social media age, it just gives everybody a chance to get to know you, and that's something, if you can help it, you don't want, especially when you reach their level of fame. You don't want people to know your every thought on different things. And really that's true in everyday life. You don't want to put, I don't know why people put their every thought on social media. um it's not good, and sometimes it actually backfires on you. So that's what I think the situation is with LeBron. This social media age, I think it's still wise. I think less is still more, especially when you come up to LeBron James, people like that. Every once in a while, Mike, give an interview. Not too often though. You mainly see, like the media or the paparazzi will catch Mike and his wife at different events or something like that. Well, Mike don't do the podcast, circuit. He don't do interviews and stuff like that. And so I think that's the way to be. Like you remember Mike from his playing days, and you learn about Mike through his clips, and what he said in the different interviews and stuff like that. I think that's the perfect way to go for those guys, who reach that level of fame. If you can help it, you want to say as less as possible publicly. You want to let people, you want to limit people access to like what goes on in your head, or the way you think and stuff like that. And people don't realize that, a person, you speak on several different subjects, and a person can get a general idea of like what type of person you are, or what your train of thought is and stuff like that. And to me, that's not good. And so yeah, I hope LeBron James really just don't do the interviews. It seems like when you do interviews and stuff like that, you're trying to prove something to people. Let Be like Mike, and be like, Dr. J and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Just let your play on the court just gotta speak for itself. People will pick apart everything you say, and everything you do publicly. And so yeah, I don't. I just thought it was just a misstep for LeBron, and almost like bullying when you call Brian Windhorst weird, So hopefully for LeBron that won't backfire, but I don't think it was a wise decision. And so that's my take on it. With that being said, don't forget to leave a comment. Also, yeah, like and subscribe to the channel. I have over 10,000 subscribers. I appreciate that. Yeah, and the channel is steady growing. So that's it. And I'll see you all on the next video. Peace.